Hi. Hey everybody, welcome to Out Loud with Lauda. I'm your host, Lauda, obviously. This is Natalie! Give a freaking round of applause for Natalie. She made it to the podcast. Natalie, introduce yourself.
Hi all, I'm Natalie. My kind of art handle is Natalie Rose, and I'm very happy to be here.
Holler if you have a dollar. Okay, let's go into this interview, girl. How are you feeling today?
I'm a little tired. Just got off work. I teach fourth grade, so it's a demanding job. But I'm also kind of like feeling good and calm.
Good.
So
good.
It's good. Yeah.
She's my little angel. Always on my right shoulder. Okay, girl. So tell me about your art.
Sure. So my art that I've been doing the last few years has been like basically just me kind of getting in touch and expressing more of my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've always been into drawing. I've always been into painting as a kid, loved it all through high school, did it, went to college and kind of dropped off from it. So, always knew I loved it. And it really wasn't until the pandemic that I got the opportunity really to, get back into it as kind of more of a hobby. And not really knowing where to start. It was like, well, just start with what intuitively feels good. What colors do you want to do? What medium do you want to do? Do you want to do something outside? And I think a lot of it really just started with like nature stuff because I was cooped up at home. So, a lot of it is just kind of intuitive, very nature based. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, actually, and I love the colors that you use because they're so vibrant and they do look like they're from nature, and it's like it slapped itself on your painting, and I love that. It means you're very in tune with the natural auras of the world. It's fantastic.
I like that.
So how did you develop your skill?
Kind of like what I was saying. It really started as a kid. My mom is an artist. Well, she went to school for fine arts.
Whoa. Okay.
My oldest sister, who's 10 years older than me, she's just naturally a good artist. So I kind of had that support as a child. If I started drawing, I got, a lot of good feedback and just like, here, try this, try that. So as a child, it was just something that was at home. And then again, kind of more through school, I was always art class was my favorite. When I got to high school, I was in independent study, just soaking it all up. So, but aside from school at my younger age, a lot of just self-taught practice, making a lot of mistakes, and just kind of feeling it out, like what feels good. And, I can sit and try to do something realistic for a long time, but I don't necessarily enjoy that, so what I try to kind of focus on the joy that it brings me, rather than trying to be a perfectionist, but that is honestly a big challenge even. So, yeah, I just kind of self-taught as I go. Yeah. What
was your favorite? When did you realize that your skills were developing? How did it feel to you? Did it feel like a sense of accomplishment? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my big point of validation was actually becoming part of an art community, because I always would tell people, I make art, but I never really ever called myself an artist, right? So I think eventually being part of an art community where they welcomed me in and called me an artist, yes, you get to be part of this, we get to show your work, you're in this community. I think that for me was that moment of okay, I think I can call myself an artist, and I just felt really humbled by it. But so that I think had a lot to do with it, because being an artist is such an ambiguous, we're all artists, right? Literally everybody's an artist. It's just I don't know, I've attached, I think, right, attached too much maybe to that word. But yeah, as far as just creating, I think it really kind of started when I got into doing bigger pieces and not being afraid. I've always wanted to do big pieces, and then just buying a pack of those and really going at it, making some fun animals and things. I just remember that was kind of a time when I was just this is really fun. This feels good.
Do you feel like animals are your biggest influence for your art pieces?
Yes and no. I feel like my biggest influence is probably nature, but I honestly, animals come really easy to me. So they're like very stress free. Same with like plants. Like if I'm just chilling and wanting to relax and paint, you know, especially like after a long hard day of work, animals are just like, I don't know, they come really easy. Maybe not like a horse, but like, you know, like birds, elephants. Yeah. Those I just don't have to stress. I don't have to think too hard about it. So yeah.
Well, I love that. So describe who you would love to have a collaboration with for an art piece.
Sure. That's such a hard question.
Because there's so many.
There's so many.
Yeah. But someone that speaks to your soul directly. Like literally like.
Yeah. Man. I mean, it'd be dope to like go back in time and work with like Vincent van Gogh. But honestly, somebody who inspires me a lot is actually like one of my best friends. Farron Hughes is an amazing illustrator. We met when we were 2 years old. Like she illustrates for a living, and she's just so talented. And like obviously, like we're like sisters in a lot of ways. We grew up together, and so I always imagined us doing like a children's book together, just because we grew up, you know, doing and I think we'd have a lot of fun with it. Our styles are so different, but I think they could overlap really nicely. And just it would be fun to like reflect on something fun from childhood with her. And so I've always kind of had that in the back of my mind. It's like, that would be really cool.
Yeah, well, honestly, that would be really cool because it's both of your worlds colliding, and also it's like a way of paying homage to your friendship.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what a beautiful thing, too, because in this life, friendship is very... Pure, beautiful friendships are really hard to come by. So when you feel like you have someone who you are mentally on the same level with, it just makes it so much easier. Yeah. And it makes it so much more fun. And it's like you both can grow and evolve together during that collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely.
I highly support that.
Yeah.
I really hope that you do
fun.
it. Be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
Please do.
Hopefully.
Who is your favorite painter?
I don't have an answer for that. That's such like, it's like asking like favorite movie, you know? Also, I'm just terrible with names. Like I truly am. I've never been good at like art history. I'm just terrible. But I mean, that being said, like I think I'm going to change it a little bit and just saying like, I really just enjoy seeing new artists, the younger artists up and coming. I love being in an environment that I'm surrounded by galleries and just like, I don't know, grew up seeing the kind of the same art all the time and being around people making really unique, fresh, like, wow, that color combination, like I would never have thought about that. And it's somebody who just like lives down the building, you know, or down the hall or whatever from me. I just like, I think my joy as far as being like a viewer of art has really just kind of been like, just artists that I really didn't even know existed, and then finding out. I think that's been my joy. So I know that's not really answering the question, but yeah,
it's still a really good answer though too. You know, what difficulties have you had with your development in your skills?
Yeah, that's a very legit question. A lot. Like I'm just like I've actually. So it's September. I like did not create this whole summer, and as a teacher I really like, nope, summer is your time to do it, like get her done, and I just couldn't, like I just like the creativity like was not coming up. And there was, you know, parts of me that felt a lot of guilt, but I also just like, you know, you got to give yourself grace and just like let that be okay.
Sometimes you just need the break.
You do. You really do. And like I have these ideas in my head, and I have like there's things. So just lately I've been trying to just starting small, like take a little canvas. What colors do you want? Let's just do something easy. So I think it's like for me, I can be a bit of a perfectionist. So I feel like if I don't know what I want to paint, why would I start to paint? And then it's like you just gotta like put some pen down on some paper and go.
And just allow your brain to just flow.
Let it flow. But those blocks are super real, and life, you know, all the stressors that come with life.
How were you able to overcome that?
Yeah, so kind of like I was saying, like I think part of it is just like, again, like giving yourself grace, patience, like letting it be okay that you have these breaks and these blocks. Like it happens.
And you're hearing it straight from her. You do need breaks because it allows your brain to kind of let life, to allow what you've learned and implement that into your life. So that way, when you go to your next phase in your art journey or whatever journey you're in, you have your shoes tied. You know how to tie your shoes, and you can just lace them up when you're ready, and you just go.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like you'll come up with new stuff that you may be like, that's totally new. You come up with new stuff that's totally new. You know.
No, I know what you mean though. But I almost feel like with every artist has a block.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you've been sometimes you can overfill your cup with your creativity too much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Or you just keep doing the same stuff, and then you're like, oh, I'm not like, or I don't know. Some people like doing the same stuff. It's different for everybody. But like, blocks happen. Definitely, everybody experiences that, and everybody handles it differently. So I think like right now that I'm back in routine and back at work, like I've got more structure in my life. I'm trying to like any time I have that little flare up of like, oh, I kind of want to like draw something and just not putting that pressure on myself. Like whatever you draw, it's going to be out in the hall and people are going to see. It's like, no. I want to draw like a child just wants to draw. I just want to go in color, like, and just letting it be that just for me, and then see what comes of that. So that's kind of how I think I'm trying right now currently to get back into it, is just little baby steps and like listening to that little flare up of like, ooh, I want to draw, you know, and not putting so much pressure on myself about it. Yeah.
Speaking of listening, who's your favorite musician or artist, or what kind of music do you like to listen to when you're painting? What is when you're in your mode, your vibe?
Yeah.
Who do you love to listen to?
I'm so bad with names. Oh my gosh. But I always do definitely have to have music, and it changes. Like if I'm doing a big piece and I'm standing, I might want to like move my body a little bit and have more kind of like pop songs or something that just are like kind of I like kind of indie electronic that you kind of get in a zone with, and they all kind of almost melt together a little bit. Kind of just going with that flow of painting. Classical music is just always super nice on a rainy day when you got your paints out. I mean, that's just always really, really nice. But a lot of just kind of like soft indie. Every once in a while, if I'm like really doing kind of a more physical piece, that's maybe when I'll amp the music up a little bit. But for the most part, stuff that's just relaxing. Yeah. When you're in a relaxed kind of mood, do you prefer headphones or do you prefer speaker? I prefer speaker. Okay. Yeah, headphones like are almost too invasive sometimes for me. Like, and I like to be aware of my surroundings. But that being said, you know, I live in a studio that I share with my partner, and you know, we got our two lives going on in one space. So there have been many times when I'll do the headphones, and it doesn't bother me. It's just if I had a preference, it would be without. But I've definitely had many times where I'm just jamming out with my headphones, and that can be nice when you've got other things going on in a house. So yeah, highly recommend if you're sharing a home or trying to get creative, and if you've got people that you live with or kids, like that might be actually super important to like have those headphones in to allow yourself to block everything else out. Yeah, invest in those beats, baby. Yeah, seriously. Tell me about this piece you brought over, because I am in love with this one. Thank you. I really love this one too, just because it does come with a bit of a story. It was one of those where I was kind of on my animal kick. I had like done an elephant, I did like an octopus. I remember that painting. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do a peacock. And so when I started this one, I was actually going for like a really realistic looking one, and kind of started getting its shape and everything, and I was going into the feathers, and I had a moment where I was just like, I took a step back. Can I swear on this? Okay. We'll probably bleep it out though. That's okay. No, but I was just, shit. You're right. I was like, okay, it was, and I feel like somebody always have this where I like looked, I was like, this is just complete shit. Like, this is awful. And I had worked like so long on it, but I had like a legit tantrum. Yeah. Which happens every once in a while, right? Right. But I was like in tears. I was like can't. And I took my hand and I was like, I just smeared all of this. And I was like, literally my tears are in this painting, right? Like just frustrated, just kind of rage going, you know, and then I like, you know, took a breath, like walked away and was like, I'm done. And then like, it's like, no. And then I kind of came back and then I was like, well, here, what about a little paint here? And then I was like, okay, a little paint here. And like, slowly over time.
Tangling with your emotions.
It was. And it like, but then it was so cool because like, I'm not even kidding you. This like kind of mess, but really what I just like, as I was painting, I was like, wait, this is looking like something different. And it's like, I love it. Like it's actually like super pleasing to me. Just aesthetically, like, and then that kind of bled into the background. And this really kind of, set up a new style for me. And now I'm doing a lot more like feeling free to, doesn't need to be like, I like the idea of focusing and then let's make some parts of it really messy because I find that actually like super appealing. Just it's
where
fun.
It's not so perfect.
Yeah, and I don't right. Yeah, and it's fun to paint that way. And that's what painting is all about for me. Like it's got to be fun, right? So, yeah. And then when it was all done, I kind of took that step back and it's called Pride for a few reasons, right? Like, it's the peacock, right? They're a symbol of pride, but at the same time, it was like this really humbling piece that challenged me. And, you know, I had my breakdown, but then I did kind of like have this sense of like, wow, this is like better than I had set out to be. And it's sentimental in that way. So I have a hard time like selling it. I think eventually maybe I'll part ways with it, but yeah, it was a milestone for sure. So yeah, that's Pride.
Yeah, it has to be my most favorite piece. And every time I look at it, it just makes me feel like so hopeful. Even though you know, you can always, me personally, I feel like I can always tell like the intention behind a painting, but it still speaks volumes of curiosity, and it also speaks volumes of, you know, just like how am I trying to explain this? Like a new world in a sense, where all the colors melt and you're just like dreamland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I love the peacock because, you know, especially what it stands for, and it's like a strut. It's like wah 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 wah. You know what I'm saying? And I just really feel like the fierceness came out of this painting, and it's like this gives me a sense of completion.
Cool.
And I really love that. And it's like, in a way, it is a sense of completion for you because you were able to finish it with all the emotions that you went through it. And it's like, I can understand why you don't want to part with it. It's because this is your growth. You have physically shown yourself that you have grown as an artist. You were able to start from start to finish with all of your emotions in it, and god damn, it's just the fucking best painting I've ever seen. Like, literally. And I love this. This is one of my most favorite pieces. And I have another piece of yours that's actually on
other side of the wall.
And
plant.
And I'm just like, it's so oh my gosh.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that feedback. It's like one of the things too that, like, you know, that so many artists, we put our things on social media and you get some likes here and there, maybe a comment. And again, that all depends on your platform, algorithms, all sorts of stuff. How often you're doing stuff. I'm not really big. I love to post and I do, but I don't stress about it. But that being said, like, it's so nice being in person, and I love that I'm in a community where we get to like really interact with each other and each other's art. And it's just been so awesome those last few years to like actually having people like in person react to art, which is just something when I got into it I just didn't have. So I remember like that just being really inspirational, and so I appreciate your thoughts, and I appreciate your genuine like interest and connection.
Oh my gosh, And you know what's so funny is every time I see you, like, especially during art crawl, it's like your apartment is always filled with people, and I love that because that means people are looking at your art. They're invested.
They're looking at the apartment.
Well, that part too. But honestly, like paintings like these help to make your space colorful and vibrant. And if you ever get a chance to go see Natalie's spot, I highly freaking suggest it because this chick and her interior designs as well. Oh my god.
Thanks.
It's awesome.
It's super fun. I love it here. It is a good spot for sure.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say I love you so much because you're such a star to me. Like, and it's not like a celebrity star. It's more of like you actually are so bright as a person, and you being the artist that you are, but being the person you are, you really fill my cup. You pour my cup so many times over, and I'm just, this girl I'm so grateful for. And
come here, blushing.
I just poured too much of it, but no, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm just so proud of you as an artist, and I'm so proud of you as a person, and you're doing so fucking well. Bleep that out. You are doing so well. And I'm looking forward to this art crawl and seeing what else you create for yourself and create for the world. And just keep sharing your light because we need that. The world really needs it. We need more Natalie. So go check her out on Instagram and Facebook. And what's your other social media platforms that you use?
I have a website. It's I got a website.
She got a website. Oh my!
I own a website.
Drop the URL, girl.
Yeah, I think NatalieRose.art. So
you heard it first.
NatalieRose.art. Spelled how you probably think it's spelled. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having
I'm so happy that you. Yes,
this
is the one that I really, really wanted, and I was like, "Oh, Natalie." Anywho, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Out Loud with Lauda. See you next time.